A pleasure to meet y'all at last, and welcome back to TV shows that deserve the spotlight. Now, here we go. This is probably going to be a big one, and I'm not just talking big by the fact that this was in fact a more modern series. A series that has lasted a pretty long time, coming as far back as 2015 and ending with the American version in 2019. This is Dragon Ball Super. Now, you're probably wondering, how can I talk about a popular series and claim that it deserves the spotlight? Well, first of all, I don't claim anything. It's not like I'm falsifying anything for the government or for the courtroom. That's a whole different story, though, that I'll leave to the professionals, thankfully. But here's the thing. Dragon Ball Super has been under a lot of fire and under a lot of misjudgment and misdemeanors. So, that's just to put it bluntly. Moreover, I consider Dragon Ball Super to be one of those shows that hardly gets the credit that it truly does deserve, because this is, after all, a true continuity that has in fact come and gone, yet still remained quite a big impression on my life and possibly a lot of other people. Because let's just be real here, how did Dragon Ball Z pretty much turn out? Because of how it ran from 1989 to 1995. And moreover, in 1986 to 1987 with Dragon Ball Original, and more importantly, the very beginning, Akira Toriyama created the first ever incantation of Dragon Ball in history in the year 1984. It began as a popular manga series. It turned into an anime a couple years later, and it turned into a follow-up anime which truly got a lot of attention in Japan. And it took a long time for us Americans to ever get a hold of a popular anime series like Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. Of course, both of which had come around by the mid to late 90s. And even to the very, very present, we still, at times, get our hands on some newer editions, special collectors, and unrated stuff as well. But I'm gonna be real with you though. While all that stuff was amazing, and there were plenty of specials that had also come around, other movies and other different things, many of which are non-canonical by this point. Of course, if I really had to pick one that I especially loved, Bardock, Father of Goku, which I have in fact talked about in films I should have talked about years ago. Definitely check that video out if you want to, but Dragon Ball Super, on the other hand, has a lot of episodes. And I guess that takes care of that part once and for all. But the real interesting detail is the plot and how well they've elaborated it to carry out the 10 full seasons, ranging from 2015 to 2019. Well, let's just talk about the whole entire story as it is. It begins a few years after Majin Buu's death, which was done thanks to the heroic efforts of Goku, Vegeta, Mr. Satan, and even the good version of Majin Buu himself. This Buu has in fact since been under the care and attention of Mr. Satan and his own enterprise. He is, after all, hailed as the hero of Earth after supposedly defeating Cell, which we know was not the case. It was done thanks to Gohan after going Super Saiyan 2. But after Majin Buu was over, he got even more credit. And was actually paid 100 million zenny, supposedly as a tournament prize. He would then pass it off to Goku after realizing that Goku's own actions were the true reason why Majin Buu is now a faded memory of everyone's lives. And then after some time passes, basically, Goku's family enjoys the huge money prize that he got. He goes to King Kai's planet to train, but then two mysterious beings are sensed by the realm of the Kaioshin, which are basically Kibito Kai, the fusion of Batara earrings, basically, between Kibito and Shin, also known as the Supreme Kai, as well as an elder Kai who was basically there before Shin. They both notice these two beings come down, and well, even King Kai himself was trembling in fear. They all knew basically what was there. And even Goku himself managed to make quite an impression. I mean, we know that Goku was dumb because he didn't get any formal education whatsoever. It took him a long time just to get a driver's license. If that even counts by any means. But in any case though, this is the god of destruction, Beerus, as opposed to a god of creation like Shin, along with his angel attendant Whis. Man. So right off the bat, we're pretty much off to what seems to be a heck of a story here. It all starts off with some kind of peace period, but then something comes down. And apparently this duo is looking for someone in particular, known as a Super Saiyan God. We're pretty much bringing gods and other such religion into the arc itself. And the whole world of Dragon Ball is crowded with characters pretty much. But it just has to get a little bit bigger, and you just really don't know by any means how crazy this might sound. Building the whole world was sure a nice idea by any means. Toriyama himself had a lot of good brains out there, considering the fact that he himself wanted to make Dragon Ball a much bigger and a much more popular topic than ever. But in this instance, we get a fight between a Super Saiyan 3 Goku and a supposed god of destruction, who only made a few slight touches and that almost kills him. Man, we know we cannot have Goku do that in the future. Oh no, but he actually does so. A birthday party goes on a cruise ship, and basically it ends with the whole world being in a complete grip of terror. Until Goku shows up again. A ritual is made, and Goku does in fact become the supposed Super Saiyan God that Beerus himself was looking forward to fighting. A huge fight breaks out. But it basically does end, thankfully, with the god himself losing. What were the odds of that happening? So, after that, some more time passes. And as we know, Frieza, the arch nemesis of Goku, and above all, everybody else, somehow manages to come back after all that time that was spent when Trunks annihilated him with a single blast. Oh man. You're probably wondering what Trunks is doing right now, but that's a whole different story. Frieza comes back, gets himself obliterated, thankfully, once again, killing him. But then, of course, we also gotta wonder what else could be next. A few other things show up. Beerus has a twin brother and his own angel attendant coming from another universe. Turns out multiversal stuff is going on as well. So in addition to gods and angels, now there's multiverses. So, like I said, the world building is unbelievable. I mean, Dragon Ball Z didn't necessarily do a whole lot of world building, but this was a whole different level. It starts off with the aftermath of Majin Buu. Gods and angels come down, a new fighter rises up, defeats the god who tries to take out Earth. for a few reasons. And then, of course, they revived Arch Nemesis that was once killed by the Saiyans. Well, then, of course, there's a giant tournament that's held between two universes over who gets the best food from the best planets. Well, we all know who wins there. Beerus wins, giant planet-sized Dragon Balls are ushered in, and, oh man. And it's quite a hilarious way to say, a wish that was made there supposedly was meant for Beerus. But that was not what happened, supposedly. Then, of course, with all these new characters that come from a whole different universe there, it's just double the amount of characters. It's just an insane way to go. Like, come on. How can you not be excited about a huge world where now there's even more characters to get along with? Honestly, I can't really put my finger on it. Something's going wrong here. But then another arc shows up. Oh boy. What can we do this time? Well, it turns out this is actually where we do get to see Trunks. The same Trunks from the future who gave Goku heart medicine, who helped in the fight against Cell and the androids, but this time he's fighting against some kind of altered version of Goku, a clone of some sorts, called Black. So this Goku Black, along with a supposed Kai known as Zamasu, oh man, it sure is quite a duo of destruction. But it gets even crazier. They have their own Potara fusion. So a Goku Black and a Zamasu with an extreme high power range from Potara fusion. But this is actually one of the only other chances that we do get to see Goku and Vegeta's Potara fusion as the almighty Vegito in usage. And I'm not so certain what could happen next, basically. Could we get to see Vegito ever again? Possibly the greatest fusion that's ever shown up. Even better than Gotenks. I mean, fun fact. Gotenks is so annoying, he might as well be the new Fred Figglehorn. Assuming if anyone even talks about him anymore. Oh man, after 10 years or so, since that channel has gone dark on us. Oh boy. You really think I wouldn't even mention it, but anyways. Well, that arc goes off nice and well, and it turns out there's beings even higher than the likes of the gods and angels. The Grand Priest, for instance, technically is the main leader of all the angels in all the universes that exist. And then, of course, the high leader of all the universes, Zeno. Zeno himself actually becomes friends with Goku. I mean, that's crazy. A mortal becoming a friend with the leader of all the multiverses? Like, I don't even know at this point. I just don't know anymore. I'm sorry, but it's all too crazy for me to ever get involved with. Oh, but you know what? The real fun basically comes with the last 3 or 4 seasons because a supposed tournament is held because of what Goku and Zeno had discussed over. They talked about a supposed tournament that would take place with all the universes in tow. Well, that's what happens. The Tournament of Power, it's known as, where everybody loses, basically. If all universes are eliminated except one is standing, well, you will never believe at all what I'm about to say. Well, the likes of such universes, they all come around, have a great fight with each other, and a good majority of the multiverses is in utter disarray because of what Goku had managed to do. He got their own universes to all join in the fight. A grand total of 80 fighters. Yeah. It's just unbelievable if you ask me. But in the end, well, such bravery, effort, tangibility, teamwork, and a lot of hard fighting all come down to the very, very, very point where the whole 1 hour time, which I seriously doubt is accurate. I mean, 4 seasons. 4 seasons of the whole entire anime. And they say, canonically, that the tournament is only 1 hour in length. Meanwhile, every single episode is about 30 minutes in length. Oh man. You got realistically a 23-minute interval, but then a lot of commercials and ads would pop up, pretty much. Thankfully with mine, I don't need to worry about ads. Not anymore. I subscribed to YouTube Premium a while ago, and I'm very proud of what I've done, basically. But oh boy, 1 hour for a tournament, and it carries on through almost 4 full seasons? That's crazy. Like, one of the strangest, most incoherent, and indescribable things I've ever heard. That'd be like stating that I did a full event for 5 seconds. And it carries on for 645 episodes. Like, how would that be possible? To stretch 645 episodes worth of a full show and have a canonical 5-second long event. How can that be done? Oh boy. I guess somebody could come up with something that ridiculous. Well, Universe 7, where Goku, Vegeta, Beerus, Whis, and all the other people from that particular universe win. Yes, they win. And by the very, very, very end of the anime itself, before they decide to pull the plug on it, pretty much, likely due to a couple of reasons that occurred by 2018, which did, of course, lead to the 2019 season itself that was planned after the Tournament of Power arc had ended, to pretty much just fade off completely. But it's just insane. Universe 7 managed to hold off the whole time with hardly any issues. That's insane. Oh, but it will get even crazier after we're hearing a lot about the manga and stuff. Lots of new arcs, supposedly. Moreau, Granola, Superhero. And I'm not just talking about the movie, which I've also talked about in films I should have talked about years ago, as a bonus episode at the time in August 2022. Can't believe it's been a year now since that film came out. Oh, but you know what though? It's insane. The whole show itself is insane. Dragon Ball Super. I find it super insane, by all accounts. But I really love it. It's the next big step towards a ginormous edge of the Dragon Ball universe that we'll probably have to look into. Even if there is a supposed Dragon Ball Super reboot, I mean, we've talked about it a lot. We've heard a lot about it a lot. And Toriyama, while not providing us with a lot of clear context details on the whole matter, I am absolutely positive we'll have to follow up everything, especially if we want the manga itself to become a bigger bit of relevance here. So, we'll just have to wait and see what the whole thing's like. Dragon Ball Super is an amazing series. Has some flaws with it. Has some not so good writing. And has not great acting either. I've heard of the likes of Sean Schimmel, Chris Sabat, Ian Sinclair, Jason Douglas, Monica Rial, and everybody else doing even better than this. And that's not an exaggeration. Yes, they've done even better than in here. So, with all that put together, thank you very much for watching this bit. And I'm sure to say we'll have even more coming in the future.